On this VA News, we have these stories. Secretary McDonald met the press and spelled out his 90-day plan.
He also explained VA's recruitment plan and met with employees and veterans in Philadelphia.
And we have a look at the Summer Sports Clinic for Wounded Warriors in San Diego.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Wheeler with Veterans Health Administration.
And I am Yvonne Rannells with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. This is VA News. Secretary McDonald met with the media in his first press conference since taking over the reins at VA at the end of July. Among other things, he talked about the national recruiting campaign he recently launched, the Road to Veterans Day 2014. We'll get back to the recruitment campaign, but first, the Road to Veterans Day plan. It's a series of strategies and actions designed to enable the department to rebuild trust with veterans and the American people, improve service delivery, and set the course for long-term excellence and reform.
In other words, we want to look at everything we do through the lens of the veteran. In the end, the VA exists to serve them, to serve veterans. Whether it's those veterans I had breakfast with at the Blinded Veterans of America convention who told me that the VA care and treatment has given them the ability to climb mountains, ride horses, and accomplish things they never expected when they were first injured. Or those veterans I met when I was in Phoenix who were being scheduled for their next appointment. I'm convinced that we are going to be able to come out of this process better able to meet the needs of our veterans because we will be looking at everything we do, every service we provide, every customer interaction we have through the eyes of the veteran.
You can read about these strategies on the VA blog, Vantage Point, at the address on the screen.
Now, about that recruitment program. As we showed in the last VA News, the Secretary began talking about it on a stop to Duke University last month. He also encouraged leadership of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees to join him in visits to VA facilities and other stops to get the best and brightest health professionals to VA. The Secretary has approached potential healthcare workers and even called and emailed them to lead the recruitment effort. Here is one of a few recruitment videos already posted at various VA social media sites.
My name is Dr. Chan Park, and I am the Director of Simulation Medicine here at the Durham VA Medical Center. I began my military career at the same time I became a physician. During these times, I must say my desire to stay active duty was very strong, but a decision was made with my wife and my family that I would resign my commission. Since that time, I've been practicing emergency medicine and found it very fulfilling, and yet a part of me always wanted to re-engage with the community that I knew very, very well, and a community that was very dear to me. There's something very unique about the veterans who come to the VA Medical Center. Sometimes they have a very real need, and that's very visible to everybody. But many have a need that is not quite visible. It is not one that has physical manifestations, but it is real nonetheless.
The respiratory technician, we're going to go ahead and send the patient to a ventilator, tidal volume of 550.
It was shortly after I'd actually started here at the Durham VA Medical Center. And at this particular day, Gunner Sergeant Jones had been escorted back to our mental health area. And there was a lot of ruckus in the room and a lot of buzz, a lot of intensity, as you can imagine, when someone does not want to be here. He particularly did not feel like he needed to be here. I quickly ran through the patient's record to find out that he was a gunnery sergeant. Walking in the room, I was able to address him by his rank. Gunnery sergeant, I'm Dr. Park. The change in demeanor at that moment was striking, but the look that I got from the gunnery sergeant was, here is a man who respects me for who I am and not for the disease I carry. When that happens, something transpires in that moment where I can continue to be the physician, but no longer is he a patient in dire need out of weakness, but he is a veteran who has a need that needs to be addressed. You know, one of the key challenges that confronts someone like myself or many other clinicians is finding fulfillment in what we do on a daily basis. And when I look at a facility like the VA Medical Center and what the VA stands for, in particular, eye care, integrity, your commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence. These are the kind of principles that a veteran would have and still embraces in their life. They live for these things, they have lived and sacrificed much for this. And these are principles that I aspire to on a daily basis. And for me to be able to come to work where these are the type of things that would govern my action is immensely fulfilling for me as a physician. I'm Dr. Park, and I care.
There is more on the effort in the press release at this address. The Secretary kept up his busy travel schedule. He took all those messages and more to Philadelphia for a visit to the Medical Center and the Regional Office and Insurance Center. At the Insurance Center, he helped Director Vince Markey and employees there celebrate the center's 100th birthday. And he visited with volunteers at the opening of the Delaware Valley Stand Down for homeless veterans.
The National Veterans Summer Sports Clinic for the nation's newest returning wounded veterans and service members was a big success in San Diego the week of September 8.
Videographers Jonathan Reiner and Tony Brazier got the great assignment to shoot video at the games, and a week away from the regular station at the Employee Education System Resource Center in St. Louis.
The brakes right here, then this is the gas up here. So you
Southern California, SoCal.
So when you pop up, you're doing like a push-up.
A full week of sailing, surfing, kayaking, and more. But this isn't a vacation.
This clinic has meant a great deal because I had the opportunity to meet and talk to a lot of people who are going through various situations, and they're still moving forward. No one's stopping. They're moving forward. They're dealing with whatever their issue is, and they're taking on life.
You know how to do it? No fingers allowed.
So it wasn't all just fun and games. Veterans from across the nation joined together for the 2014 National Veterans Summer Sports Clinic, pushing themselves, testing their limits, overcoming obstacles, and achieving goals that might have before seemed out of reach.
After the surgery, I was pretty much down and pretty low in spirit. Just to be able to get into the water and swim was something just so exciting. It was unbelievable. It's been the major factor in me getting back on my feet.
As part of VA's adaptive sports program, the Summer Sports Clinic's goal is to redefine the mission for veterans. In keeping with that aim, veterans and VA employees were also keeping one eye on the future.
Not everybody is going to want to sail. Not everybody's going to want to ride bikes. But with the daily activities, I have a veteran who's interested in archery. He never thought he could do archery with upper extremity prosthetics. So they showed him he could do it. I have a couple of veterans who was all excited. He got a splint for his leg, will hold his prosthetic leg in the kayak to help him roll and have balance.
Using those adaptive technologies, vets were able to hit the mark of their chosen targets, familiarizing some challenging sports, making new friends, and gaining many admirers along the way. Reporting from San Diego, California, I'm Tony Brazier with the VHA Employee Education System.
The President honored 2 Army heroes of the Vietnam War for their exceptional courage and valor in battle more than 44 years ago. Alabama native Sergeant First Class Benny Adkins returned and still contends that those who died in his unit are more deserving. Oklahoman Specialist 4 Donald Sloat was just 20 and did not return from his last battle. His sacrifice saved several of his fellow soldiers around him. The President told the stories few knew until recently.
Today we honor 2 American soldiers for gallantry above and beyond the call of duty at each of those moments. Specialist Donald Sloat, he reached down and he picked that grenade up and he turned to throw it, but there were Americans in front of him and behind him inside the kill zone. So Don held on to that grenade and he pulled it close to his body and he bent over it. And then, as one of the men said, all of a sudden there was a boom. The blast threw the lead soldier up against a boulder. Men were riddled with shrapnel. 4 were medevaced out. But everyone else survived. Don had absorbed the brunt of the explosion with his body. He saved the lives of those next to him, And today, we're joined by two men who were with him on that patrol, Sergeant William Hacker and Specialist Michael Mulheim. In the spring of 1966, Benny was just 32 years old on his second tour in Vietnam. He and his fellow Green Berets were at an isolated camp along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. A huge North Vietnamese force attacked, bombarding Benny and his comrades with mortars and white phosphorus at a time it was nearly impossible to move without being wounded or killed. But Benny ran into enemy fire again and again to retrieve supplies and ammo, to carry the wounded to safety, to man the mortar pit, holding off wave after wave of enemy assaults. 3 times explosions blasted him out of that mortar pit, and 3 times he returned.
You can read all of the President's remarks and the Medal of Honor citations for Sergeant Atkins and Specialist Sloat at the address on the screen.
The birthdays just keep coming for World War II veteran Alice Dixson of Washington, D.C. Ms. Dixson got a lot of help celebrating her 107th birthday earlier this month at the D.C. VA Medical Center, where she has been a patient and volunteer longer than most of us have been alive. Producer Dwayne Wingfield and videographer Jay Rosenfelder were there for Ms. Dixon's most excellent birthday bash.
I'd like to present Miss Alice Dixon. Come on in, Alice.
This is the most beautiful thing that could ever happen. I feel like Queen Elizabeth in England when they honor her so wonderful. And I am so blessed to be here and can understand everything at 107 years. I am so blessed that God has left me here. I'm one of 9 children, and I have 1 sister left. There's just the 2 of us. Dorothy here. She was the baby sister anyhow, and she's the baby now. Thank God for everything he's done. He's left me here well prepared to take care of myself. And I always try to give a little advice to other people. They may not like it, but I give it anyhow. They ask questions and I answer them. So it's all in one that I'm happy to be here, happy to talk to so many lovely people. And I tell the girls now, don't worry about getting old. Just live it up all the time. God will prepare you for it. And keep looking good, keep dressed up, and enjoy life, and don't let anything get by you.
Did you know? The 2014 Veterans Day poster is out and getting posted here, there, and everywhere. The winning design came again from John Magine of the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center's Medical Media Department. Magine is now a 4-time winner and current king of VA Veterans Day poster designs.
I enter every year with the expectation of, gee, maybe these things will do pretty well, but when they win, it's always a excitement, and to be selected 4 times is amazes even me. But it's an honor, a huge honor to win.
That's our show for this week. I'm Jeremy Wheeler. Thanks for tuning in.
And I'm Yvonne Rannells. We're glad you could make VA News part of your day. Have a great day and rest of the week.